Greetings to each and every one of you. I hope today finds you well. I would just like to mention the fact that you have the opportunity to donate through Patreon if you would like. If you can appreciate these and you listen to them on a regular basis and you have the heart to be able to donate maybe $1 an episode, $3, $4 a month with 4 episodes coming out, we attempt to launch one every Sunday morning, and that would be very much appreciated. If not, that's very much understood, and I encourage you to keep listening. Please subscribe. Share with other people this podcast, so if you're getting something out of it, they may possibly get something out of it. Give it a thumbs up. You could hit up the comment sections to let me know what you appreciate, and we can see how we can go forward in more episodes to be able to accommodate the people that are listening. To donate, simple enough, just hit the description. It will take you into a Patreon account. It is Patreon, Catch It, A New Perception. That is all one word. And enjoy the podcast. Enjoy each episode. Welcome back to Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Katuk. And as this season goes on, we're going to continue to explore some things and see where different ideas can take us. See how we're getting connected, how we're not being connected, and what we can do to change those things if we want to, or how we move forward. There are certain things that we do or don't do that allow us to think a certain way, therefore feel a certain way. And there are certain things that we say that are going to dictate how we think. Because when we say them, we run them through our mind. What mantra do you have in your mind when you wake up every morning? What is it that you keep telling yourself? How great your connections are, how great your connection is to the Creator, how great your connection is to other people, how you feel part of? Or do you realize that you don't tell yourself that? That that's not your mantra? And the reason it's not your mantra is because you don't feel valued. Is there something in your life that could allow you to feel more valued? Are there things you can do in your place of employment, in your home, to allow you to feel value? Because when you feel valued, you will feel more connected. Now, I know that there's things that happen outside of us where we don't feel valued. How much were we part of that? How did we create that in not being conscious of certain things and realize, looking back on it, if we would have done it different, someone else would have reacted different, and maybe we would feel more valued today. Do you have a job where you don't feel like you are valued? Do you want to continue to work there? Do you want to change something? And what is it that you can change to make yourself feel of value? I think it's worth exploring. And one of those things is your perception going in. Many of us feel and think that we're good employees, which may or may not be true. It's possible that you may be the best employee at your place of employment. Maybe you've even got Employee of the Month or Employee of the Year, and you're impressed with yourself. So you think that everything that you've done up to this point allows you to still look like a good employee. Or do you still go into work trying to do better than you've ever done? believing that you were employee of the month because you did everything that you could do on a regular basis, and they finally noticed it. And then you decided to stop doing it. Or you continued to do it and became employee of the year. Or you stopped doing it and you don't feel like you are valued. And you don't know why, because you were employee of the month 2 years ago. One time. Because you put forth different effort. What kind of effort do you put forth today? How do you strive to do what you need to do to make your place of employment a better place for you and the people around you on the shift that you work, in the department that you work, whatever that might be? Do you do what you can to try to help people see things different, think different? Do you do what you can to assist people? Or are you derogatory? Whether this is your place of employment or your home with your family, do you walk in at the end of a long day bitching about your work, complaining, pardon my French there, complaining or with disdain or talking down about people? As you have dinner with your family, is that the conversation? Or is it a different energy of, I really appreciate being able to be employed. It's nice being able to provide for this family. I'd like to be able to provide a little more, and what's happening right now are really good things. Keeping my head above water, doing the things that I can do to be able to contribute to the best of my ability. You know, people talk about making ends meet, and, you know, it's wonderful to make ends meet, and then they move the ends, right? And then I can't figure out why I made the same money a couple years ago, and I can't make ends meet the same as I did a couple years ago, because the ends continue to move. So I must move forward with everything in my life. I must continue to see things different. I must be able to continue to do things to better myself, to better my surroundings. The more I tell myself how great my life is, how grateful I am, the more grateful I am. If I speak of things with disdain and I complain about my spouse, about what my children have done or haven't done, about what my work does or what they don't do, or I say, you know what, there's a lot of love between my children and I. There's a lot of love between my spouse and I. I'm really grateful for the things that she does for me, because my wife does things that I sometimes don't know how to. I carry a heavy heart into a situation and my wife just does for me. She makes me want to be able to do more. She inspires me to do more. She always follows through. Is that what I see in her? Or do I carry disdain and complain that she doesn't do enough in the relationship? Because she doesn't do what she once did. Well, I don't want my wife to be who she was when I met her, now decades ago, because I am decades older than I was then. And I wouldn't want to be with her the way she was. I want to be with her the way she is. Can I be grateful for the maturity that she has? If you've listened to all of these episodes, you'll know that I don't care much for terminology like old when it comes to human beings. And the maturity that my wife has versus what she had decades ago is incredible. I love it. Now, some people might have disdain for someone maturing because they want to hold on to something that they once had. I don't want to lose the love, dignity, and respect that I had for my wife. I want to hold on to that and create something more out of it. I want to create more memories. What are each one of us doing today to create those memories? Those memories for the future that we can live with. I have a grandson who has a birthday coming up. And I have an opportunity, and I don't know that I'll have this opportunity in the future with him or any of the other grandkids. And right now, I have an opportunity to create a memory with him for his birthday. That sounds incredible to me. The greatest gift I will ever be given in this lifetime are the memories I have been gifted by the people who loved me. Now, some of you people may or may not understand that. To me, that's a gift. I know sometimes we don't see it as that. That's not our perception. We want to believe things that aren't real also. There is value in memories. If you want to feel valued with someone, create a good memory. Not a memory with disdain, a memory with love, a memory with respect. I think one of the greatest ways that I feel value today in my life is when I feel respected. When I am doing a speaking engagement or some type of leadership course, and people respect what it is I'm doing, I feel valued. When I'm at my place of employment and people respect, okay, what I've done in the past and what I still presently do, or how I bring more to the table today than I did in the past, even though it's in a different way than maybe an executive or someone else would. I bring something different to the table than they do, and they respect what I bring to the table. I feel valued. Where I don't feel valued is when I'm not respected. I walked into a situation last week at work, doing something I haven't done in a number of years. I was asked to help out in another department, and I cross over to do what I can to be able to assist and just do the best job I can. I haven't been refreshed in any training, just kind of thrown into it. And let's take care of it the best we can. And the people that I was there to assist seemed to appreciate it. I felt like they respected me. A lot of value in that. The guests that I was working with seemed to be able to respect me. So much value in that. So moving forward, I want to be able to find a way to show respect to other people around me so they feel valued. If I am going to be a good relative, the best thing I can do is show love, dignity, and respect, and know that they are valued in my life. Whether that's my grandson who's about to start school very soon, or whether that's my wife that has spent decades with me, or my brother, I need to be able to show them respect so they feel valued in every aspect of our relationship. I could disagree with them and still show them respect. Doing some consulting recently, I flew to another state and speaking with some people. And as I first sat down with them to do some consulting with their business, I said to both owners, I said, I'm going to say something you don't like. At some point over the next couple days, each one of you are going to hear something that you don't agree with and something that you don't like. And that's okay. Let's just see what we can toss up in the air and what comes down in a good way. Well, when I tell someone in that situation that they're going to hear something they don't agree with or they don't like, they can respect me, even though they don't agree with it when it comes across the table. So that approach is really important. Had I not said that, and all of a sudden I throw something out, and one of them doesn't like what I have to say, he gets caught up in that. His head starts spinning. He can't hear anything that I say because he has disdain for what I just said. So everything I say after that is totally off the table. Or I make an approach like I do out of respect for them, because I think they run a really good business. I think they have for decades, and they're doing a great job. And I let them know that right up front. I think it's excellent work, and I think it's great for the people that they're doing it for, and their sacrifices are wonderful. I think everything is great on that level, that they're really moving forward in a good direction. They carry a good heart. And so then, when I throw something out there and they disagree, or they don't like what I have to say, they can just dismiss it, because in the back of their mind they knew I was going to say something they didn't like. Okay. And then they catch right up with the next sentence. They're on board. They're listening. They're tentative. They're respectful. And I left that city flying back home after a few days down there. I felt valued. Now, it's interesting because each one of us have our own deal and how we feel valued. You know, at our place of employment, we may not feel valued because we don't feel like we're making the money that we should make for what we're giving. So we just give and hope in the future that it will be compensated. You know, I think about, like in the sports world, professional sports world in the United States, some big contracts come across the league, like the NFL. And they get something called a signing bonus. And it's a way for them to get financial compensation without it going against the salary cap that each team needs to hold. There's a lot of particulars, and all these things have changed over the decades, and it looks a lot different than it originally did when they came out, and they just play games with the money to make it look however they want. And I always thought that if you give someone a signing bonus, it should be because they've already played for your team, and this is for past compensation that we didn't pay you. We didn't value you as well as we could have, and this is to show you the value that you have shown us to equal that value over the last number of years that you've played for our team. Now, that's not actually the way it works. If they did that, I think people would feel very valued. That's a whole nother realm of something like professional sports, where people are blowing up into egotism and may not actually feel valued. They're paid for something that they're doing, and they could possibly feel no value in what they're doing. Some people have huge contracts, and in spite of that contract, they still carry a good heart and they do a lot of really good things. And I think they feel valued in their life because it's more than just the money they're making. Some people feel more valued because of the money they're making, and that may or may not be a real value. It may be a bit of an illusion. Some of us live with different types of delusion. And within those illusions, we create the delusion. And I get that. So moving forward, we're going to do everything we can to be able to see things different. See how we can be valued. See how we can value other people. See how much we feel more value when we value other people. Whether it's someone in our immediate family, whether it's somebody in the Tioshpai, the extended family, or if it's somebody in our work environment, which might be part of an extended family if we look at that properly. I mean, looking at a business the way I would look at it, I would think that unity would come first. So I would want to treat everyone within that crown of that business, in a sense, as family. I like the idea of not paying someone what they're worth. I like the idea of paying someone more than what they're worth, and see what that does for the value I get out of that person. Now, some people maybe would just become a worse employee. I think most people would feel valued and want to do more rather than do less. And ultimately, I would get more value out of them than what I would pay them, and I'm paying them more than the standard industry would pay, more than what the average pay in that industry would be. And then I get more out of them. It's just a different concept of value. What's the value of $1 today? I ask because I had an uncle who was an elder to me, as most uncles are. And he was my mother's uncle. He was my maternal grandmother's brother. I remember having a conversation with him. And it really carried a lot of weight. Decades later, I still remember it well. He talked about the value of a car today, and he said, "Isn't it a great value?" He said, "When I got my first car, it took so many man-hours worked." So how much he was getting per hour and how many hours it would take to pay for that car. And he said, it took this many man-hours. And he said, my car wasn't going to start in the winter. The engine wasn't going to run for more than 40,000 miles. The battery wasn't good for more than a year, and blah, 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 blah. Goes on with this list of all of these things. And then he said, today, he said, the tires and spark plugs will last longer than the engine did in that car. And when I buy this car today that people think is so expensive, it only takes this many man-hours worked to cover that car. And it will last so much longer. What a great value. You see, this is something that we don't look at. We don't look at value so often. We think things are getting overpriced, very expensive, and we're not looking at the value of them. Money is only one aspect of it. I think it's important that we feel valued emotionally. And I think that we need to feel valued in our lives in every aspect. And the best way is to value the people around us. I hope all of you live well today. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao Ket.